get to school happy and gay. Welcome to the China podcast. We've reached a milestone over the last little while. We've reached 1,000 downloads, which we think is pretty good.
It's brilliant, yeah.
Isn't it?
It's exceeded all expectations.
Yeah, it has indeed. And we've only been doing it for a little while.
Yeah, we're 4.5 months in.
4.5 months in, and keeps growing. People keep listening.
Absolutely. It's a minor triumph.
It is a minor triumph, yeah. It's been an awful topsy-turvy few weeks over here, hasn't it?
Very much so, yeah. We've got COVID.
Yeah.
Well,
you don't have COVID.
You and I don't have COVID. You and I don't have COVID, but it's back in China. It's prevalent once more.
Yeah.
As bad as it's been for 2 years.
Probably as many cases as there's been for 2 years.
Well, it's in the thousands again.
Yeah,
which is worrying because
they aren't they'll get around to stopping it. I'm sure at some point. If they don't, it's probably just going to take over. Yeah,
and that's where the question marks over the zero COVID policy come into play.
Well, the zero COVID only works if everyone else plays ball.
Well, that's it, yeah. So, I mean, we were talking about this last year, I suppose last summer. And even last summer it was bad enough in Europe and elsewhere. We were tipping along in China.
Perfectly fine,
yeah. As normal, going about our business. But what we were saying to each other at the time was, China did the right thing.
Yeah.
They implemented a zero COVID policy, lock it all down, shut your borders, keep it contained.
Yeah, and it worked.
And it disappeared, right? And life was back to normal within 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, but you can't do that in other countries. Well, you can do it in other countries. They just didn't.
They didn't, and that's the problem because, as you say, the zero COVID only works if everyone else does.
Yeah.
Australia did the same thing. New Zealand did the same thing. But in Europe, in the States,
they just accept it.
They accepted it. They lived with it. They kept it going and gradually locked things down and banned this and banned that and before they ultimately closed. Yeah. But it was too late, and it was
too late. Too rampant.
It was too rampant.
Too many people
in society.
Yeah. And it's a shame the amount of people that die. But this Omicron doesn't look dangerous, so it doesn't look that dangerous.
No, it's more infectious.
But
not as dangerous. Not as dangerous as the one before, the Delta.
But sure, I don't know. I know nothing about it. In all honesty, I know nothing about it because I'm not a doctor. I just do whatever the doctors tell me. I have to go get a third shot now.
Yeah, the booster.
Yeah, have you had your booster?
I haven't had my booster, but the 6 months are up.
Yeah, my 6 months were up a little while ago. I have to go back to Andro to get it.
Okay. Yeah, I got a text message about it, so it's just a matter of getting around to going there.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the rest of the world had done the same thing, and sacrificed 5 or 6 months of their lives, back in 2020, then would we be still here talking about it right now?
No, we wouldn't. It'd be over. It'd be done.
It's possible, It's possible. But now it's lingering on, and it's just going to continue. And where Europe are they've learned how to live with it.
Yeah.
The countries who've gone zero COVID and still go zero COVID, they may be at a disadvantage.
Yeah. Well, there's a massive disadvantage for sport or games, if you would like. So I love chess, and I don't know if you know that the last round of the Grand Prix of the Chess Grand Prix is going on, and the 2 top placed players in the Grand Prix, they get to play in the candidates match, which is to challenge Magnus Carlsen for his world title. Ding Liren doesn't get to play in that because of China's zero COVID policy.
Yeah.
Now there's another guy, Grishchuk. It's a piece of work now, to be honest with you. He's a Russian guy, and he has been banned. So he got a place in the candidates match based on his rating, and the next highest rated player that doesn't have a seat is actually Ding Liren. So the place in the candidates match should go to him.
Yeah.
But he needs to have played 25 classical chess games within a certain period of time. And this is one of the highest rated players of all time. And he can't play those games.
Yeah.
Because he's stuck in China.
So no way for him to get out?
No.
Well, he could probably get out,
He
but
could
it's
probably get out, but he can't get back.
Okay.
Which is, it does affect sports people who are based in China.
Yeah.
Ding Liren being, I suppose, one of the biggest names of those, because him and Ali Ferjusa, I would bet on them. Just me as a chess fan, I would look at Ali Ferrugia and Ding Liren as potential new world champions.
So do you reckon this Magnus Carlsen fella,
he's the best ever?
Right, he's the best ever, but does he have any competition now that these other guys cannot challenge him? Ali Ferrugia. Okay.
Yeah, Ali Ferrugia is like, what is he, 18? He's 18 and he's 2800 rated. He's like one of the highest rated players of all time, and he's still only 18.
Wow.
He's ridiculously good. He's an Iranian French grandmaster.
A grandmaster at 18.
Oh no, he was a grandmaster at 13.
What?
Yeah, like these are the type of people that just know chess. They just know chess.
Yeah, they can look at a chessboard and see every move ahead of them
and tell you the next 10 moves.
Yeah. That's where I struggle.
That's where you struggle.
I can't see 2 moves ahead of me.
Yeah. But there's been a good time for Chinese sports people who are not based in China. A young boy based in Sheffield in England. Yeah,
Zhou Guanyu.
Yeah,
talking about Grand Prix. Yeah, we're talking now about Formula 1.
Yeah.
And yeah, this guy, this is his first season in Formula 1, so Formula 1 being the top tier of motorsport.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's come from F2, Formula 2.
Yeah.
Where he was successful. A Grand Prix winner, Grand Prix of Formula 2 winner, but not a champion in that field. So yeah, when he was given or awarded the seat at Alfa Romeo this season, there were question marks by a lot of people who were saying, why not give it to the champion? Why not give it to, I think his first name is Oscar Piastri.
Yeah.
See, what he did was he joined a team called Alpine.
Yeah.
They're a French team. And he joined as their reserve driver.
Right.
And yeah, a lot of hardcore fans were saying they couldn't understand why Joe and not Piastri.
Yeah.
Let's just say at the weekend, he proved everybody wrong.
He did.
His first Grand Prix in Bahrain, not only did he drive exceptionally right throughout, but he also put what was last season the second slowest car into 10th place.
Yeah.
Meaning he got a point.
No, I watched the highlights of that, and I didn't watch the full race. I didn't have time. It was on too late. But I did watch. His teammate is Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah.
Right, and Valtteri Bottas last year was driving for
Mercedes.
He was driving for Mercedes.
As Lewis Hamilton's teammate.
So he's in the best car. Mm-hmm. All right. Last year he's in the best car and he's driving with Hamilton. He did really well as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he finished 6th.
Yeah.
Now, the reason both drivers finished in the points was because of retirements at Red Bull.
Yeah.
So their 2 cars were running in the top 4 and both retired. They didn't finish. They had mechanical issues. So that elevated Joe from 12th with 2 or 3 laps to go up into 10th. So he finished in the points positions. Bottas would have finished 8th or so anyway. But it was an incredible achievement because Zhou Guanyu is the first Chinese driver in F1, as in as in driving in a race in a Grand Prix.
Yeah.
There have been others who've tested and stuff like that, but never driven in an actual race.
And a few in the Formula 2s and the Formula 3s.
Yeah. There's been a few always knocking about.
Yeah.
But, from I suppose a commercial point of view, from a PR campaign in terms of China and its relationship with Formula 1, it's a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, for the last couple of years, and this year as well, there's no Chinese Grand Prix on the calendar. It does exist. Hopefully it'll be back next season. I really hope it's back next season, because I want to go to it.
Yeah, so do I.
But yeah, if Formula 1 can tap into the Chinese market in a big way, they can only reap the benefits. Well, having a Chinese driver on the field, on the grid as well, is a big thing.
The Chinese love a superstar.
Of course,
absolutely love a superstar.
Yeah,
I can't begin to tell you the amount of things that I've seen Eileen Gu selling. Mm-hmm. Like, I saw her selling toilets. She's selling toilets now.
She's selling toilets.
Yeah, so she's selling coffee. She's selling houses.
Yeah.
She's selling sofas. She's selling toilets, and this is all on top of maybe the usual stuff I'd imagine she has, which are like skis and hats and glasses.
Yeah, her own merchandise.
And the same is like if Guan Yu Zhou manages to get any sort of a success in Formula 1, you're going to see him everywhere.
Yeah,
it's a massive achievement. Like, the Alfa Romeo team is not good.
They're all right. Like this season, because this season is like a kind of resetting the ball again. Because of new regulations, the cars have changed, engines have changed, so there's been a real shake-up on the grid. And actually, Alfa Romeo are one of those teams who have started off really well, because they did the groundwork right over the last year or two in anticipation for this season. Probably one of the few teams who sacrificed a little bit. Yeah. Sacrificed last season and maybe the year before. Yeah. With the in anticipation for doing it this season. So they had a long-term plan.
So it'll be interesting to see how it shapes out over the course of the year for Guan Yu Zhou. Yeah. It'll be nice to see him pick up a few more points, and
I don't doubt that he can't do it, because from his driving ability, it's pretty good. Like, he's easy on the eye. He's swashbuckling. He made a huge number of overtakes. So he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, a swashbuckling Chinese Formula 1 driver.
Yeah, he's a hero, like what you're saying,
Yeah,
someone for Chinese people to look up to.
To give them that little video clip of thing. Speaking of looking up, that was awful. That plane crash during the week.
Yeah, it was very, very tragic.
Scary how a plane can do that. If in case anybody out there doesn't know, there was a plane that took off from Kunming. It was flying to Guangzhou, and right now, at the time of us recording this, nobody really knows what happened. They do have the voice recorder from the cockpit, but that plane was at cruising height, 36,000 feet, and it dropped vertically. Before a couple of thousand feet up. The pilot actually managed to get control of it, and he brought it up again. It leveled out, and then it dropped again, vertically straight down into the ground. Yeah,
and some of those witness videos, CCT videos, were just horrific.
Just scary. There's 132 people.
When you see that object, as you say, vertically falling from the sky.
It's literally vertically falling. It's like you just get a penny and drop it.
I've never seen that kind of clip before.
I've never seen a plane.
You might have seen a recreation of it.
I've been waiting to talk to my other friend Eric. He's a pilot, because because I was under the impression that the Boeing 737-800, which is the plane that it was, I was under the impression that they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
That they actually could not drop vertically because the computer would just shut it down.
Right.
So I'd really like to know more about what the hell happened.
Yeah, and I mean, they found one black box, but they're looking for the other. I think they found one with the
voice recordings. Yeah,
they found that, or they haven't.
They have found the one with the voice recordings from the cockpit, but they don't have the other black box. Right.
Is the one with the voice recordings, that would be the most important for knowing what happened between, the dialogue between the pilots, of course, is critical.
Yeah, the other one will have the telemetry. The dialogue is critical.
Yeah, but did it not have the telemetry anyway?
There'll be more recorded about like bus failures and stuff like that, and
I suppose, yeah.
They'll be able to tell you exactly what was going on. They don't they don't transmit everything.
Yeah,
but hopefully the people whose families were lost, hopefully they get a bit of closure. Hopefully, everybody that was on the flight gets found and gets sent home.
Yeah, that is important. Yeah, as you said, that they have that closure. But yeah, Boeing in the last number of years have had a bad rap.
They've had a very bad rap.
A lot of disasters.
Yeah, a whole lot of disasters. But they if there was a problem and they knew there was a problem, then they should have just taken the planes out. They should have just cancelled the whole thing. But that's what I hear people saying. I hear people saying that there's a problem with that type of plane.
Yeah,
I don't believe it.
You don't know. And the other thing is, there are so many Boeings.
Yeah,
I don't know what the percentage will be of all planes in the world.
It
that are Boeing, but
it'll be pretty high up there.
Pretty high percentage of them. Pretty high up there.
And we have the COVID back here as well. We have the COVID back in Chongqing here. There's 4 or 5 cases.
Well, there's what I think last I heard there's 60 cases.
60 cases
in total.
Yeah,
but in the last few days there haven't been any.
I've been told that I can't leave the city. That I can't leave the city to go to Guangzhou and then come back, or I'd have to quarantine.
Yeah, and there's a fear of that too. I mean, because you don't know what's going to happen when you are away.
Yeah,
and can you get back or not?
Yeah,
even if it is okay to travel.
But the good thing is the boys from Chengdu get to come up.
Yes, they do. With their Gaelic footballs.
With their Gaelic footballs, yeah.
And their rugby balls.
It'd be the rugby balls, yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting mix, Gaelic and rugby.
Very much so, yeah. So yeah, what's happening is tomorrow.
Yeah.
There is what's called the inaugural Hot Pot Cup.
Yeah.
And this is happening in Chongqing. And it's been kind of billed as a rival kind of match or matchup between Chengdu and Chongqing.
I think that's what they'd like.
That's what they'd like in theory. I don't know if it's going to be like that in reality.
A little bit of local rivalry.
Yeah, but it's all new.
Yeah,
it's all brand new. It's the first time that this has happened or taken place, been organised.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a gang of people coming from Chengdu, coming from the local GAA club there.
Yeah.
And they're coming to Chongqing, and yeah, people from here and people from Chengdu putting on a little bit of a show. Gaelic football and tag rugby.
There's been a fair bit of I'm going to come back to the Hot Pot Cup now in a bit, but there's been a fair bit of Gaelic players, like fairly popular hurling players and Gaelic players that come over to China over the last while, haven't there?
Yeah. Now, first we need to tell you for the uninformed, what is Gaelic football? What are we talking about? So Gaelic football is an Irish traditional sport.
Yeah.
Alongside hurling.
Yeah.
So these are the two national pastimes, and they've been played for hundreds of years,
Thousands of years in the case of hurling.
Possibly. I mean, they outdate football, soccer.
Well, hurling outdates writing.
Rugby. Hurling outdates writing.
Outdates writing in Ireland, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So one of the first books ever written down in Ireland contained mention of hurling.
And that's gone back a long way because you know the Ireland being the land of saints and scholars.
Yeah.
Monks in particular were writing.
So we had
long time ago.
We had written records during the Dark Ages that the English didn't, because once the Romans left, they didn't write anything. But the Irish kept on going with the Church of Columkill and stuff, to the extent that the Irish ended up teaching the English how to write. Yeah,
and of course, you know, hurls exist in Irish folklore and legend and myth as well. Cú Chulainn and all that kind of thing, you know.
A hurl
and his wolfhounds.
A hurl being the stick, the implement you use to play the game. It's shaped roughly like an axe, like a longer axe. A longer axe, yeah. We'll say
but it's all wood, so without the blade, there's no metal in it.
There's a metal band on it. Well, it's not made of metal.
No, it's made of ash. Yeah. It's made from the ash tree.
It's made from the ash tree, yeah. But yeah, there's mentions of it being used to train warriors and stuff like that. Thousands of years ago. Yeah, a few of the boys that used to play hurling, they've been over to China. There's one very famous one in Xi'an now at the minute, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a fella called Cha Fitzpatrick. Former Kilkenny All-Ireland winning captain.
Yeah.
And he retired from playing for Kilkenny at the tender age of 26. That is a tender age. But he won multiple All-Ireland titles with Kilkenny. Kilkenny being a county in Ireland, being arguably the best hurling county in Ireland.
Yeah. Say that's hard to say for a Clare man. Or a Wexford man. But it's true though.
One or the other. But yeah. So his story was he was hurling for his county back in Ireland, teaching in Ireland.
Yeah.
And he moved to Abu Dhabi for a while.
Yeah.
And then took the next step and moved to Shanghai because I don't know, one of his mates told him that this is even more international.
Yeah, well, he was teaching in the south Dublin, and he was teaching primary school in South Dublin, and big money to be made in Abu Dhabi. There's big money to be made in Abu Dhabi, so
tax free.
Yeah. And then they said, "All right, well, why don't you go for Shanghai?"
Yeah,
you know, it's probably the reason why most of the teachers end up here.
Well, yeah, I mean, as international cities go, in a modern sense of an international city, it's hard to look past Shanghai. It's hard to beat it.
Yeah.
And you know, Abu Dhabi and Dubai as well. You can get a sense that when you go there, you're kind of living in a bubble.
That's for sure.
In a way, in Shanghai, there's just so much happening.
Yeah.
There's a lot more. I would say, from my personal point of view, there's a lot more happening in China than there would be in one of those Middle Eastern.
Yeah, like because if you go to Abu Dhabi and you, as an Irishman, you want to go out and get a pint, it then becomes difficult. You know, whereas if you're in Shanghai and you want to get a pint, you just walk down to the corner shop.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably be some old lad sitting there playing chess, drinking beer.
Yeah, there's no shortage. And then culture is there,
absolutely,
in all its forms as well. So yeah, he moved to Shanghai for a while, and then went inland into Xi'an. Xi'an being the old capital city in ancient China,
Chang'an,
and now still a very, very, very popular tourist destination.
Fantastic city.
Very old city walls,
Terracotta Warriors.
Also home to the Terracotta Warriors, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's in Chien now. He's teaching.
Yeah. So I remember reading something that he was saying that it was a big change for him over the last year or two. I think like with being locked down and stuff in China and stuff, he was pretty impressed by the Chinese lockdown thing. But,
yeah. As most people were, I think.
Yeah.
If most foreigners in China at the time, because you could see when you're here and you could see like
absolutely
this works.
You're talking to people back home and they're saying, "Oh no, we've been in the house for the last 3 months." We were never in the house for 3 months.
No, even when it was bad enough, we were still able to go out about our business. But that's just one of the things that Chad Fitzpatrick has been impressed with about China. But he does lament a kind of the lack of a GAA kind of culture amongst foreigners in his city, more so in China as well.
Yeah.
Being a Kilkenny man, being an avid lover of GAA.
Like, I can't imagine him sitting down and watching the soccer.
No. I mean, you're going to miss it. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're going to pine for it,
especially if it's such a big part of your life. What was the other guy?
The other fella is Diarmuid Ling.
That's him. Yeah.
Now, Diarmuid Ling didn't live in China, but he was here for a while, mostly in Tibet. Diarmuid Ling is a former Wexford hurler.
He was the captain, wasn't he?
He was the captain for a while. He was made captain sometime in the late noughties.
Yeah.
So this would be coming after Wexford. They won the Leinster title in 2004, which he didn't participate in. He didn't participate in, or wasn't in the starting lineup. But then he did make his name in the team. He was a regular, and eventually became captain. His story is a very interesting one, because this guy, he's a big mental health advocate.
Yeah.
Or an advocate for looking after your mental health.
After your mental health, yeah.
The reason being was playing for Wexford at the time, and he was in a team coming off a very successful period in which Wexford were at the top of their game. They won an All-Ireland title. They won a couple of Leinster titles. They were considered as one of the top dogs in the country. So, because of that, there comes expectations.
Yeah.
Right? Expectations from the Wexford people.
From the Wexford people. And there's a pressure to succeed.
Yeah, there's a pressure to succeed that comes with that.
And I think a lot of Wexford people, they want to emulate the heroes of the past, and they want to be able to put Diarmuid Ling on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. Which, if this is the guy that scores all your points, you want him to be the superstar.
Absolutely. And this expectancy, this pressure started very early when he was in the minor categories. From the age of, let's say, 17, 18 years old. And he also came from a hurling family. I think his brothers, I want to say his brothers played as well. Or would have played locally, perhaps not at county level. I can't say for certain if they did or not. But this pressure continued, and it became greater and greater and greater to the point where it just got too much for him.
Well, you must reach a point where you just think to yourself, I'm just a sportsman. I am a sportsman, and that's the be all and end all of my life. Mm-hmm. There is nothing beyond sport for me, which is kind of depressing. If it's not good for your mental health.
Exactly. If your whole world revolves around your sport,
or even one thing in particular.
Yeah, any one thing. You do need more hobbies, whatever.
Yeah, you need to be able
you need something else to fall back on as well.
Yeah.
But he packed it all in. He packed it all in at probably prime of his career, and he went travelling.
Yeah.
He went travelling to a number of places. He was going to go to South America first, right?
I think he was, yeah. But he ended up in Yonkers in New York.
Mm.
He ended up in Yonkers in New York. He was working in a bar, and he ended up having he made a load of friends from Colombia and Mexico, and he intended on going there. He intended on going there. Yeah. I don't think he ever did.
He didn't make it because he went to Southeast Asia.
He went to Southeast Asia, yeah,
and China as well.
Yeah. First thing he did was he went off to
Nepal, sorry, as well.
And Nepal,
not
and
strictly
Vietnam.
Southeast Asia. But yeah, he went. Yeah. He went to a monastery.
Yeah.
He went to a monastery. He went to find himself, I suppose.
Yeah.
To kind of reflect on his life up to that point.
Yeah.
And how he could better himself and get out of that state of mind that he was in that was kind of holding him back, I suppose.
Yeah.
How to break free.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other week. It was this week, actually. Just take a week. Just take a week and go sit in a monastery. I was talking to a friend about it today. I was saying, just one day, just go find a park. Just go find a park, find a corner of the park, sit down, read a book. Don't answer your phone. Don't listen to music. Just sit there in your thoughts and just ignore the world for a day.
Yeah, let go of all distractions. Let go of all modern distractions.
Yeah.
Technology.
All earthly methods of communication. You know, all technological methods of keeping you in touch with everybody. Just let go of them.
Yeah, just remove yourself.
Remove yourself, and then just lie down in the sunshine.
Yeah, which is what he did in a sense, and
I think we all need to do that.
Yeah,
it's all very stressed here at the minute.
Yeah, we are.
I never told you the first part of that story. First part of that story is I was talking to a girl who was going to spend a week in a monastery, reflecting and meditating. She's not going to do that now. Guess why?
Because of COVID.
Cancelled because of COVID. All she was going to do was sit there and meditate, but she can't do that now.
What a pity.
Yeah, what a pity. It's like a week of quarantine anyway. Should have just told her to stay for an extra week.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst, would it?
It wouldn't be grand.
Yeah, so I just suppose it's the getting there.
Is the problem.
That's the trouble.
Yeah.
That's what would have people, worrying.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dermot Ling got involved in making some videos of him hurling. In China. He was showing off his hurling skills and poking a ball.
Yeah.
In front of a monastery. The big one in Lhasa in Tibet.
Oh,
there's a video there.
It's the Grand Palace, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think it's called the Grand Palace. The one with the one anyway. It was the big one with the steps up to it. Yeah. No, I saw that one. And I saw the one. Where was he? He was down in Cambodia. There's a big temple complex down there. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody would know the name of it.
Yeah.
Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat. Yeah, he was poking a hurl around. He was poking a schlitter around Angkor Wat. Saw that one.
So yeah, he got together a number of like high profile personalities, sports people that he knew or that wanted to take part, and they made a collage of like video clips, put it all together, and put it out there, and it was called Hurling Around the World.
That's pretty cool. Like
each one of them, each person stood in front of like a famous landmark. And perform some hurling skills. Yeah,
didn't Xi Jinping hit a schlitter? Didn't he?
He did indeed. Yeah. When he came to Dublin in Ireland, he met the president.
Fair play to him for making contact, because I remember he made contact with the ball.
Yeah. It's not always easy at first.
No, it's not.
It's hard to get to grips with hurling at first. Just gripping the stick and hitting the ball
and actually putting the ball onto the stick.
Yeah. But he did. Yeah, and he took a tour of Croke Park.
I took a tour of
Been
the headquarters.
The headquarters, the spiritual home of hurling in Ireland, where
Yeah.
all players want to play.
Every player, regardless of the sport, they all want to play there. No, I'd love to play there. You ever played in Croke Park?
I'm too old now.
Too old, huh?
Too old, I'm in the wrong country.
It's terrible. Terrible.
Maybe it's happening in an alternative universe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows? But yes, we will play this weekend. We will play some Gaelic
on real grass.
football, on real grass, real turf.
Real grass.
And not just the Astro stuff.
Yeah.
As we said, the Hot Pot Cup, the inaugural Gaelic football and touch rugby Hot Pot Cup. As we said, it's being billed as Chongqing versus Chengdu.
Yeah.
And it's going to take place this Saturday, being tomorrow, 26th of March.
Suppose we might as well give Tyson a big up as well. It's proudly sponsored by VB.
Yeah, VB being Victoria Bitter.
Yeah.
The beer. And there's an after party as well, right?
There is indeed. There's an after party. If any of you guys are around and you are listening to us in Chongqing, you'll have to listen fairly quick. But the after party's in Shots. And yeah, it should be a good laugh. Like looks like there's a good crew gonna go.
Yeah, the after party, it's, as you say, is in Shots. Shots is a sports bar.
Shots
now.
is a sports bar.
It's under new ownership by two. Yeah,
we have to get Chris and Paul on.
Chris and Paul. I think so.
At some point, we'll get Chris and Paul on.
I think we can for a chat.
Yeah.
About running, what it's like to run a business in China.
Yeah. He was the regional director of English First as well.
Okay.
Chris was. Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's for another day.
That is for another day.
But yeah, so from 1 p.m. until I think 4 o'clock, there'll be some sport, and the after party afterwards at 7.
Yeah. And I tell you, lads, here we are doing this podcast. It's myself and Eric. We're both feeling a little bit of the pressure this week. We're both feeling a little bit under the weather. But it's grand. It's grand. It's fine to feel like that. Because we're not going to feel like that next week. We're not going to feel like that the week after. We're going to feel a different way. And so just take care of yourselves, lads. Just take care of yourselves. If it takes going into a park and sitting down and reading a book, do it.
Absolutely, yeah. Look after your mental health. The weather's getting better. Temperatures are rising. Get outdoors.
Yeah.
Get some fresh air. I have a soccer match on Sunday as well.
Oh, the debut.
That's my debut. I've been playing Tuesday nights for the last 6 months. Not every Tuesday night. Yeah. I'm not committed.
Not every Tuesday night. You're a terrible trainer.
But I do score goals.
You do score goals.
Uh-huh. And I've recently just joined a unofficial tennis club.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
I played tennis for the first time last weekend.
Yeah. How bad were you?
Not great at first, but I quickly got the hang of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that comes from the fact that I grew up in a country that plays hurling.
It might be.
And when you are going to primary school, at some point you've got to take hurling lessons.
Yeah.
There's no escaping it.
There's no escaping it. You have a stick and a ball and you have to hit the ball. Yeah. Anyway, will we take that as our leave?
I think we will. Look after yourselves. Take care. Thanks for listening. Find us on Twitter.
Spotify,
we're on Spotify,
Acast,
on Acast.
We're everywhere.
Like and subscribe as usual.
Yeah. And toodles.